This is a school. Students are sweeping and keeping their environment clean. That is Laos. A lesson that can be learnt in one particular country. The people of Laos originated from southern China, setting the present-day Laos from 13th century onwards. The Lao kingdom of Lang, meaning Kingdom of the Million Elephants, became a powerful player in Southeast Asia, and its territory covered much of present-day northern Thailand. Luang Prabang remained the capital of the kingdom until 1545, and subsequently the French took over and became a French protectorate in the late 19th century, and later during Second World War Japanese occupation occurred. In 1975 it became a communist country, and the American bomb tried to suppress the infamous Ho Chi Minh trial, and eventually Laos became the most bombed country in the history of warfare. As a result of this, one can see what the West can destroy a prosperous Asian nation such as Laos, and one can see in Vietnam, India, and other South Asian countries, and those that escaped like Thailand, China are in a better shape. The West continue to destroy the Asian countries, now in the form of selling unhealthy food items and other things. This is what my 80% of the Laos people are Buddhist, 10% worship some animals, other 10% tree and a ghost. My guide tells me there are no Muslims or Christians in this country, nor there are Hindus. History of the Laos also goes back after 13th century, when Cambodian king Jayavarman VII married off his daughter to a Laos king, and then the kingdom was established. Buddhism is that of Tiruvana and came from Cambodia. This particular Vatma is all of gold. Further, in Laos at age 13, boys and girls became novice until age 20, when they learn Buddhist sculptures and also primary, secondary and high school education. At age 20, they can either become a monk and quit and get married. There are few nuns. During novice, they cannot drink, they are allowed to smoke, but cannot lie and cannot cheat. And for monks, there are 227 rules are present. Vatma is all gold and glittering. The bright sun, one can see the glitters of gold. This is more from inside. Some are worn off in the pillars, and one can see the beauty of the ceiling. On a close-up, one can see the precision of work. Photography is allowed in Buddhist temples. This is a Laos Buddhism script written in Pali Sanskrit on palm leaf. Unlike dirty flooring of Hindu temples, the main area is carpeted and then there's a marble. I could walk barefoot very easily. Something Hinduism can learn from Buddhism. When a novice is blessed by the monk to become a monk, or in a case of girl, a nun, no face contact is made so that there is no emotion involvement. This particular one is held in front of the monk so that he does not see the face of the novice. This is a flower arrangement offering for making a wish. What chupa is full of bougainvilleas, and the walkway is full of flowers. Perhaps the most flowery temple in the world, or at least of the Buddhist temples. At least I have not seen this many flowers anywhere else. These are all made by the students during their novice time, each of this pot and then planted. These are made by students during their novice time and planted. There are several stupas here, and it's impossible that so many body parts of Buddhas can be buried under this. Some can be concept. One stupa claims it has spinal cord of Buddha under its stupa. When you look at this, including 1,000 Buddhas, one god can be very boring compared to Hinduism, where there are hundreds of gods, give you a high degree of diversification in art, music, and write-up, compared to just having one god. With no god, I don't know what they can inspire on. This city has hundreds of guest houses like this. An ideal thing for backpackers, and is very inexpensive. Certainly not for the very special person. With no Indian food available, and the breakfast is only meaty stuff, I had to ask 3 times to get some cornflakes and French bread. And I had to eat MTR pre-cooked food in my hotel room. That's a daily dinner as long as I'm in Laos, possibly in Siam Reap. No wonder she will never travel with me to these countries. Wat Sang Moon is one of the UNESCO World Heritage, where on the walls one can see the paintings of Buddha's life. It starts with what looks like a Hindu Rishi, and then one can see the glorious paintings. One of the most amazing and beautiful. Here the flooring is so nice. One of the novice doing the scope work. More older novice doing the woodwork. Secondary and high school.
Yeah, we take
Rather Buddhist secondary and high
for
school.
secondary school for 3 years and high school for 3 years.
Students hanging around. These students study 22 subjects in 3 years. That includes Buddhism, computer science and other sciences, and English also 2 hours a week. I'm in Watson. One can see the beautiful work here. These are not hand painted. First they find the brown, then they do on the paper cutting and paste it on that, then spray gold paint, then remove the paper. Needs lot of time and patience, especially when looks at this. Roof to the ceiling. This creation centuries ago is reproduced by this artist from Germany, and he is from England, and they are relaxing, enjoying this expression of their talent in this faraway country. Entrance to Wat Saintong, one of the UNESCO World Heritage Sites. Wat Thiam Zing Min was built in 1640 and is representative of Laotian temple architecture. The admiration happens only when you go inside to see the walls. The temple is invaded by Western tourists. Thank you. This is still not a Hindu god, even though the concept could have come from there. This one, folding of the hand and namaste, is a very, very common one throughout Asia. Even when you give some tip to a person, and possibly adopted even to Christianity later. As I enter, in the altar is Buddha and they knee down. No wonder it is easy for somebody like Richard Jean to convert to Buddhism, follow Dalai Lama, because the concepts seem to be the same. On the door is what appears like a Dwarapalaka, as the Garuda one is seen in Thai Buddhist temples and palaces. Finally, I am seeing 4 arms in a painting. It's easy to explain where the concept came from. And the temple dances. In the courtyard there are other smaller temples. Outside one can see the 3-dimensional creation. On the walls are these extraordinary glittering things. Almost like on the walls of the Egyptian temples. But these are of more of a tile work. Some mural is pretty huge of the tile work. More murals are seen made with the tile. This is a close-up. shows the precision of the work also. The king dies, the funeral vehicle is housed in this building. Again glitters with gold. One can see the beautiful murals. Actually, the scene is of Ramayana. The funeral vehicle on a wheels. This urn is the king's body put in. This is Mekong River, and the city was built on the banks of this river, as is many nations on Mekong River. From Cambodia to Laos, monks on the boat. Clean river ghat, no bathing, no washing clothes, and many steps. Gautama Buddha attained enlightenment in Buddha Gaya under a banyan tree. Thus the banyan tree became holy, even though it was holy in the Hinduism prior to that. The seedling of this original tree is still in Japan, and elsewhere like in Laos they plant this tree as well as a statue of Buddha. This is a stupa of a very unusual shape, built in 1510 by King Vishwanala. Sounds very much like a Vishwanatha. The temple here is called Wat Vishwanala. Thus one can see the structure being gold because of its aging. What Vishwa, whatever they said. More close up of a 16th century construction. This is a saw tree. Now it's a plant, it grows up. The branches are dried and outer bark removed and shaved to make something like this. Soaked for a week, taken out, boiled well, crushed with this into a almost like a fine paste. Put on this paste on this meshy frame, spread around into a sheet that in the fresh state looks like that, dried in the sun and made into a sheets like this. I bought a modern art painting made on one of these, almost like a canvas, all handmade and biodegradable. From the finished paper, anywhere from paintings to lampshades are made, such as this one. Homemade Lao whiskey, Ban Sang Hai. This is called the Whiskey Village. They are giving away the recipe. Rice is added to the cold water into this drum and then evaporated after fermentation, and whiskey comes out. These are several jars of sticky rice soaked for a week or two. When it smells, 4 jars of that content is added into this drum and it is heated. With the heat, the alcohol evaporates and then comes into this jar. This is a Laos brewery. or the art of whiskey making from rice. Once it is made, you can get the whiskey with a snake, lizard, scorpion, tripid. In fact, different type of snakes, different type of bottles. Lao rice wine has got a 50% alcohol or 100% or 100 proof. Marketing, it is camouflaged with this woven one so that the tourists can buy and take it with them. And here is a salesperson. This is the way to Mount Fuji. It's a dirt road, very bad because it's in the jungle, located next to the mountains and the river Mekong. This Baku village what one can see the ancient paintings have deteriorated. Showing in a way birth of Buddha, and just at the end is Buddha attaining nirvana or his death. This old temple, this is a newly built one, and the preparations are on the way for Kumbhabhishekam. They're making this panel on which these will be laid and decorated as the way to the caves. You have to cross the river with these boats and go down these steps. These are not for the special person. This is the way to the special caves. Rowing the boat to get into the water. One close up. These caves, as one can see, there's a Buddha image, again of a limestone. The Buddha image looks pretty crudely made, or it is deteriorated. I'm not seeing any water. Only at a higher up I am seeing algae, but no water dripping. Inside out a tunnel for the main entrance, especially with the boat going.
They're making fire, when they know how to making fire, and then they know how to cooking food or meat, yeah. And then
Entrance to upper cave. Leaving the cave by a private boat. The family lives in this boat with the owner, driver, wife and a child. She helps to push the boat around. Child looks around. View of the Mekong River and the mountains behind. This is my boat. Our guide is relaxing. We are the boat and the mountains. Luang Prabang National Museum. Within the National Museum compound, this is one of the temple under renovation. Close up again the teaching of Gautama Buddha. Looks like representing birth of Buddha, is the attaining nirvana. These two seem to be common in Laos. Beauty of one of the side doors. Again Buddha with one concept of either in Buddhism or in Christianity of a cross. You can only design them in certain limited ways. At the end you run out of ideas. Take Indian gods. You can design them in million and more ways. It's an infinity. Gold is the name of the game. Gautam Buddha with all the gold in the palace rejected and ran away. For simplicity, here it is glorified with a claim that it stands for purity. But it stands for more wealth and glory. Ask any female or a banker, they will tell you. More gold, evidence of renovation of pre-gold and a post-gold of the dragon. On the back door is the reflection of what it was before Siddhartha looked at, exposed by his father to prevent him from becoming a sannyasi. This is what Buddha or Siddhartha saw that changed his mind and did not know prior what it was about aging, disease and suffering. More of the same thing. One can see the gold and the green again compared to Cambodian temples in Angkor Wat, where initial construction was a Hindu. It is lot more diversified, even though Buddhism came later there. But in Laos and other predominant Buddhist temple architecture, I am seeing not as advanced and refined. As I walk inside, more of same old stuff. Just for a little change, there is at least one scene of Ramayana, Laoian version. Another scene of Ramayana war. Looks like the impact of Hinduism was so strong that Buddhism could not escape, but to deplete at least Ramayana in its modern temples. Another view of the front courtyard. Behind the statue is a theatre where this evening the story of Ramayana will be held. Reflection of the National Museum building from a side pond. This is a farmer's market. Anything from non-veg to a lot of fresh vegetables are sold in the morning. One of the vendors. Veggies vendor. I also saw dead squirrels. I didn't want to videotape. It seemed they eat them. I don't know what fruit is this. She brings on a two-wheeler and sells. Rice vendor. Night market. starts at 5:30 to about 10:30. They sell mostly the fabric, highly handcrafted. Now they are getting ready. I'm filming before it gets dark. The items vary, including art, even modern, handcrafted lampshades, beautiful bedspreads. Salesperson pulling the cart of our merchandise, dolls, of course silver jewelry. There are antiques. This is the way to a mountain in the center of city, or a hill, hillside or so. There are 377 steps for me to climb now. View of the steps. This is not for the special person. View of the city from the top of the east side. Sunrise would have been nice from this angle. More close up. This is the stupa, the top of the mountain. The beautiful mountains around. Another beautiful view toward the west. The foreground is Mekong River. Photographing a photographer. Sunset. As the sun is setting, the colors are just marvelous. This is a diksha or alms ceremony of giving food to the monks, that is the Buddhist monks, as even Gautam Buddha went only for 5 homes and ate whatever they give. If he did not get anything, he would starve. So in Laos, this is followed about 6 a.m. in the morning, and these ladies and men are waiting for the arrival of monks who come in a line. What is given is rice. That's a sticky rice. Monks are arriving. The inflow of the monks, but I am not sure the quantity of food seem to be excess for one day.